Hello, my friend. I hope you're doing so well today. I'm being shown that your energy is pretty polarizing for people. It's like they either love you and they want to be around you, or they're repelled by you and they're like trying to do things to like hurt you or avoid you or something of that nature. And so it's like you carry such a pure frequency. You are a bright light. You are an evolved soul. You are very close with God. You have a high state of consciousness. And the people that are drawn to you, they recognize this energy. It feels good to them. They recognize that oneness, that unity, that unconditional love, that truth, that mercy. It's like home. It's like that. It's like when you go out in the sun and like it warms you up and it feels so good. It's like that, like your energy, even on like an unconscious level, because they might not be able to even put their finger on why they feel that way towards you. But on a soul level, in an unconscious way, it reminds them of that pure, unconditional love, that source energy, that bright light, that healing goodness. And so people are drawn to you. And but then because you do have that pure light, sometimes people are repelled from it. You have that pure energy, that bright light, they're repelled by it because that light is casting down on things that they haven't yet integrated, like casting down on their shadow. It's reminding them of these feelings, these unpleasant feelings that they are carrying with them, that they haven't resolved, that they haven't integrated, that they haven't brought into their being with love and understanding. And so these people become repelled by you because it kicks up feelings they don't want to feel. It could be, very unpleasant feelings, like maybe feelings of jealousy or feelings of insecurity or feelings of lack in them. Maybe they compare and they see, like, oh, I want to be in that place. I want that energy, but they're not there yet, And then they operate from that ego mind and they act on those emotions. And it's in those people in those states operating at those lower frequencies, those lower states of consciousness, that they do choose to do hurtful things. Or, just they try to sabotage you, or they try to hurt you in some way, or because they're trying to avoid dealing with that shadow energy. And so I am seeing some things here that have to do with karma and have to do with past lives. And people always get like a little bit funny when I start talking about karma, because it can like kick up some fears in them over like, well, the mistakes they made, and like, oh, well, what's my karma for that? Or, like sometimes it can be hard to digest some of the things that we went through in life. But I want to make something clear, because I do see that you are dealing with some karma in this life, but I want to make it very clear that like the mistreatment that you went through in this life, the traumatic things, the things that put you in like survival mode, fight or flight, that wasn't your karma. So I'm seeing like your karma was more on like an emotional level. There were things that happened in previous lives of yours that you felt a way about, and they weren't like your consciousness, your soul still had some things like, so how do I say this? Because what your soul is highly evolved, so your soul understands things from a different perspective. But when you come into the physical body and you come down into like this density here, the subconscious, the mind, the consciousness kind of remembers certain things, and then it can like kind of like affect your beingness here on this earth. So let me get into it. Let me try to clarify this a little bit more. So you did come into this life with people from past lives, but I think the plan and the goal, what I'm being shown, was that these people were going to resolve some of the karma that they had towards you that they didn't resolve in previous lives. And you were going to resolve some of this emotional energy that you carried for things that you did in previous lives. And what was going to happen was there were going to be people around you that were going to like remind you or kick up some of this energy from past lives, and you were going to be able to like integrate it from this new level of understanding here in this life. But things didn't go exactly as planned, because we do have free will. So you can come here and do whatever you want. And unfortunately, what I'm seeing is that some of the people that severely mistreated you in this life, they felt a way about you in a previous life. So I'm being shown that in a previous life, you held some type of authority, or you were like a type of leader, or you came from like a family that was like a royal family that had a lot of responsibility and a lot of wealth, but responsibility. So like you were a leader, like you came from a family, and maybe you even had a leadership role where you were making choices for people, like maybe it was political choices, like maybe you were a ruler of some type, or like a leader, where you were responsible for many people. You were in the public eye. And because you were in the public eye, and because you were making choices, there were many people in that lifetime that had particular feelings about you. I'm also seeing you had a lot of servants. Okay, so and you had a lot of siblings and like family members. And so there was like some type of rivalries, sibling rivalries there. There was a lot of jealousy for the position that you held. And there were people who didn't always agree with some of the things that you did. And so and like, I'm not seeing that you were like an evil, bad person or anything like that. Like you were like loved. You were loved. You held this position of power, and like you helped people. You did good things, but you couldn't, you can't please everybody. And also because like whatever group of people that you were responsible for, it wasn't like everybody. There were still other groups of people that opposed you, like maybe other nations. So maybe like you ruled a nation, or you ruled at a specific area, and then there were like opposing forces, people from different nations or areas or communities that didn't agree with your politics, or maybe wanted to like take over your land or something of that, or they just wanted to have power over you. Okay, so in this life, what I'm seeing was like you came in with many of these people, and the people who had a lot of negative feelings towards you, they were supposed to come in and resolve those negative feelings towards you. So the dynamics were a little bit different. So maybe like if it was like a sibling rivalry in a previous life, they came in as parent in this life. So that was supposed to like open up their heart and allow them to evolve and allow them to work through these feelings of resentment or jealousy or whatever it was, hate that they had towards you. But it didn't really go that way. Instead of working through these things, some of these people chose to act on those feelings. Like instead of trying to understand them and come to a place of love, they tried to control them, and in turn like tried to control you or tried to punish you and do things. Now I am being shown somebody that views you through like a lens of jealousy. So somebody who has very jealous eyes. So their demeanor is not necessarily jealous. They don't necessarily treat you badly, but the way that they look at you. you see something there in their eyes. You see something and you can feel it because you feel people's energy. You are highly empathic. This is one of your gifts. You are very intuitive. You are very telepathic. You communicate telepathically with different levels of consciousness. So it could be like people and animals and the elements and things like that. But I'm seeing so these people came into this life and they were supposed to resolve these things. And also in this life, you were supposed to resolve some of the feelings that you, like when your life ended, you passed having certain emotions. And this is what I say when I mean you're here to like clear these emotions in this life, or maybe even some physical things. So I'm seeing like some of the emotions that you might have come in was like having this, like you feel like you have this huge weight on your shoulders, like you're responsible for everything. And I think this is relating to the fact that you had a leadership role where you were responsible for so many people and for so many things. But in this life, you don't still have, like, you are a leader and you do have a role of leadership, but it's not in the same capacity that it was. So it's almost like maybe you feel like you're carrying this weight on your shoulders, and maybe you have a lot of shoulder pain, neck pain, like back pain. And that's what you're carrying in from this previous life. And there's almost like some subconscious healing that you have to do where, you know, you have to talk to yourself and remind yourself like you're not in that light. You're not in that lifetime anymore. I am seeing also like because you were in the public eye, you were in the spotlight in a previous life, maybe there was a period of your life where you didn't want to be seen in this life. And now this could also have to do with some of the early childhood mistreatment, the trauma, the having to be in survival mode, things of that nature, which again, that wasn't really planned for you. There were certain things that were designed that were supposed to remind you of the past, and you were supposed to like be like, I have these feelings and I don't know why I have these feelings, and then you were to like really resolve them. But what happened was like you wound up going through some severe mistreatment in this life that prolonged your ability to really navigate these energies that you were meant to integrate, those karmic energies. I'm seeing you brought into this life also some type of moral dilemma from an action that you did in a previous life. Like something that you did in like a way to protect yourself created like a moral dilemma for you that didn't get resolved in that life. And you brought it into this life. So the moral dilemma, it was kind of like how you responded to a particular situation. Like maybe in an effort to protect yourself in a previous life. Again, this might not resonate with everybody, okay? So just take it how it resonates. But in a previous life, like you might have had to protect yourself from somebody, and maybe the way that you protected yourself like ended their life. But it was like the only thing. So maybe you had some type of moral dilemma about that you brought into this life. So there's a lot of guilt. Maybe there was like a lot of shame there. And you're like, I don't really understand why I have all this guilt and shame in this life. Or maybe you can relate it to some of the mistreatment in this life, but you're feeling like it goes much deeper than that. It's almost like you understand certain things of this life, and then you're like, but some things are just so much deeper and I don't understand why. It's because you carried it in from a different life, And so, you know, past life regression therapy, or maybe you're thinking about learning about your past lives, or maybe you have been learning about your past lives. Maybe you've been doing regressions. Maybe you're seeing somebody to do these regressions, or maybe you're doing like self-hypnosis, self-past life regressions. Maybe you are going into meditations. or doing meditations that you find online, or putting yourself through these meditations, that you're receiving information. And this is helping you clear up some of the limiting energy that you have, or some of like the weight you've been carrying around in this life. I'm all for that. I think that, you know, the subconscious mind is remembering everything from every life you've ever had, and you're an evolved soul, so you've had many lives. You've had many lives on Earth before it was really dense, when the consciousness was very high, and also when the consciousness kind of, you know, like receded back for the process of learning and evolution, like soul evolution. But you've also had lifetimes on like other planets, other stars, in other galaxies, in different universes, and your subconscious retains that. And again, things that don't get resolved, things that you know, when the life ends there and you don't get resolved and you come back into a new life, your soul chooses like, hey, let's resolve these things in this life. And Earth is very much a place where we can resolve as much karma as possible. Okay, I am being told that you have resolved a lot of your karma from this life. So if you did things in this life that maybe you feel guilty about, like maybe you made a mistake, maybe it was when you were still like in fight or flight mode, when you were still in survival mode, before you went into healing, before you were aligned with your authentic self and leveled up to these new states of consciousness, maybe you did things that you regret, or that you carry guilt or shame about. I am seeing, though, you have been able to integrate those energies and you have resolved those karmas. And some of the karma, like your means of resolving it, had to do with like pets. Like you've had pets come in to this lifetime, or some type of relationship with an animal that has helped you resolve some type of karma. But as far as past life goes, and as far as like the mistreatment you went through in this life, you were not supposed to go through that. Yes, your soul came in here to end certain things, and by end certain things, like end generational cycles, again, it was like, it wasn't supposed to be as bad as it was, and it did kind of prolong you from like, how do I say this? Because like you're always like you're always at the right time at the right place. But there were things that happened, kind of like little detours or little hiccups, because of free will. And because people who were supposed to resolve their karma and come to you with this place of love, like they were in a position where their heart was supposed to open and they were supposed to love you, they didn't. They were caught up in some of these emotions they brought in that weren't resolved, and they acted on them, and they did immoral things. Okay, and that's like karma that they're going to have to deal with. That's going to continue down in their bloodline until that stuff gets resolved, and until someone's brave enough to resolve it. What else am I seeing here? I am also seeing something that has to do with like food sensitivities. And again, this isn't going to be for everybody, but I am being shown that in a previous life, like you were either poisoned or you poisoned yourself, something like that. And so in this life, when you reached a certain age, it's like your body started to have a lot of food sensitivities. It's because the subconscious mind had like this fear that you were being poisoned again. And, you know, the food in this life is very different. I mean, unless you are like growing your own organic food or buying like incredibly high quality food and making your own things, like the food today is very processed. It's very loaded with unnatural things, preservatives. It's broken down to a level that's not necessarily healthy, or there are a lot of additives in the food for like flavor enhancement and just not natural. And so while your body does call for a very natural diet, because, you know, like your body's cool, like your body is ascending, your level of consciousness is high, the body's upgrading, you don't need as much density. But also, like your body is viewing these unnatural chemicals in the food as poison. And it's like, oh no, I'm being poisoned again. And so like the body is like attacking itself. And so you were having like a lot of food sensitivities. And again, this goes back to talking to your subconscious and reminding your subconscious that you're not in that life anymore. But here's the thing, you know, we keep repeating things until we understand them. So like you can be going through things and you don't really understand. You could have fears come up, things like that you don't really understand. And they are from past lives, but until you really like connect with that past life and understand like, oh, it's from this life and that happened. You know, it can be hard for the subconscious to let go of it and to really feel like it's safe and like it's in this new life. So I think that's why past life regression is coming up. Again, you might be looking into it, or it might be something you're doing, or maybe you feel like called to it. It's interesting to you. Like go for it. Go for it. Your mind is not going to bring you to places that you're not capable of dealing with. Like your mind is protecting you. You are highly protected. But if you are feeling a call to do that, or a call to reach out to somebody who specializes in doing that type of thing, who's qualified, who has experience, is specialized, like this is like a confirmation, like that's okay for you to do. Or if you want to do your own self-hypnosis, the thing about that is like you want to get yourself into a meditative state where your conscious mind is kind of like quieted down so that your subconscious can feed into the conscious mind images and information and things like that. But you want your conscious mind to kind of be like kind of quiet so that it's not like jumping in and being like, is this real? Is this not real? Like, I don't believe this. Like, chatter, you know, which the conscious mind wants to do. Conscious mind is very active. The subconscious mind is feeding things into the conscious mind, but like you have to be in more of like a trance state or a meditative state. You can put on like pure binaural beats, like alpha waves, theta waves, delta waves, things like that, like pure frequencies. And you can find those frequencies, you know, on YouTube. You can just search them up. And it'll be like a pure frequency and you can feel it. And you want to go with the frequency that feels good to you. And you want to like get into those meditative states and then just call your subconscious mind forward, or say you're connected with God and you're like, I would like to speak with my subconscious mind, and state what you want. I want to understand why I feel this in this life. Is it related to a past life? Show me that past life. Show me the information that I need to know so that I can resolve this. Okay, so like the subconscious wants to bring that into the conscious mind so you understand it. And oftentimes things don't go away until you understand it. Okay, I'm 23 minutes into this video. I'm chatting up a storm. If you're still with me, thank you. There's a lot of information coming through. There's a lot of healing coming through for you. You are healing at rapid rates right now. And because you are healing, the body does require rest to integrate this. Sometimes things take a little bit longer to integrate, but you got to trust the process. Okay, and love on yourself and be gentle with yourself and like do that work. Do that meditative work. And my messages come to me in the meditative state. I know people were asking because I don't use cards. I'm not a tarot reader. My messages come to me. Like the all mind, like the God source mind, like brings information to me. And because I'm in these meditative states and like a clear antenna, I receive these, and then I know based on my feeling like what to bring forward and what not to bring. I've been doing this inner work and healing work for a very long time. And I've been meditating for a very long time, and I go into meditative states for a very long time each day. So that's how I do it. But you are being asked to go into that stillness, and however feels natural to you. You know, everybody's different. You might want to go in nature, or you might like being in water when you do it, or like you just need to be in quiet, like complete silence, or in a dark space, or you need to listen to certain sound frequencies. You know, follow what you're being called to do. Okay? There's a reason why you're feeling that call. If you might go into meditative states when you're stretching, and you might be called to do like stretching and yoga and humming and things of that nature. It's not wrong. If you know, like sometimes you get taught these belief systems, like these things are wrong, and then you have like these moral dilemmas over. But if you're doing something and it feels really good, like wholesome and healing and pure to you, and your cells are just like responding to it, and your heart feels open, and you feel like you can, that's a good thing. Okay? So don't, you know, you got to follow what your heart and your inner resonance is calling for. And again, it might be very different from what you're taught, or from what like the mainstream world is, you know, promoting. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. I feel like I'm talking a lot. 26 minutes in. And your energy is so beautiful, and you are such a rare breed. You are connected with the consciousness of God, the consciousness of the whole. Super, like the super consciousness, the super cosmos, the universe, the earth, you know, like, you know, it's like all these different levels. And I've said it before, and I'm forgetting the name again, although I know somebody did leave it in that comment. But it's like those Russian stacking dolls, where it's like you in this life, and then like just gets more expanded out until like you're connected with the all, you know, the one, the supreme, the absolute, the God consciousness, you know, however you identify with that. But yeah, so that's the message. I hope that was helpful for you. I hope you're feeling well. God is so proud of you. God's always like, we are so proud of you. You are such, like you've had to navigate some really difficult things, like things that weren't necessarily planned for you. But like you are doing it, and you did it. Like you are a very strong person, a very like a strong soul, like a soldier of God, soul, like soldier, like S-O-U-L instead of like the normal spelling of it, like a soldier, like one of God's warriors. And again, your energy is polarizing for people, and like you inspire people, and you heal people, and you remind people of that eternal oneness, and you also teach people. Because when you elicit people's shadow energy, that provides them the opportunity for growth, should they choose it, you know, because like I said, we do have free will. I hope some of that gave you some clarification or some type of validation for some of the things you're experiencing. And if it didn't, then, you know, the message isn't for you, and I'll catch you in the next one, okay? I'm really proud of you. God loves you so much. I love you so much. We love you so much. You are seen, you are heard, and you are magnificent, okay? I'll catch you in the next video. Take care of you, okay?